Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. I'm Daniel. We are continuing our original Dungeons & Dragons solo campaign, and the lone survivor of Aleen's Foxes, the Hobbit, must now make their way across the map to civilization. They've got no gold and nothing to show for their trouble except a bunch of lost friends. Let's see if they can make it back. Okay, so before we get into this travel back, there were 3 turns where they were able to evade, and then, were not able to lose, basically, the people. So I'm going to go by the outdoor survival thing, and we're going to move our halfling around a little bit. I'm going to roll 3 times, and they're going to move in random direction 3 times. So 3 puts them here. 1 puts them here. And 3 puts them here. Okay. Then eventually they evaded the orcs, and they are kind of starting their way back. I'm going to kind of follow outdoor survival rules with that since we use the evasion. And I'm going to knock off rations and such for that. So they started off with 14. So I'm going to make hash marks for these. And so they ate up 3 of them in that evasion. And I was tempted to actually use the mapper rules to have them go back and make them go to the houses and stuff, but they're not a mapper, and I'm just going to stick with OD&D because that's what we're doing. Okay, so we're using the book 3. Again, we're using OD&D rules for travel, so I'm going to roll. They're in the woods. I'm going to roll a d6 to see if they get lost. 3, they do not, so they can move in any direction they want. Now, I am going to keep that die roll, but what I've decided is that since the encounter happens at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that die roll will be applicable to whatever terrain they end in, if that makes sense. So they can move 3. Even if they went this way and then up, they'd still have to go through the forest for an extra move. So I'm just going to go straight north. So 1, 2, 3. Because remember, they can move 3 hexes a day, assuming they don't get lost or if they go through anything weird, or 3 moves a day, if you want to call it that. So that day goes by. Let me chop off the food. And what we're going to do here is we're going to look any random encounter. They're in the clear. A random encounter would only be on a 6, so they do not have a random encounter on that day. So I am going to make a mark. So we counted that as 3 days. So it's actually not January 20th, which is what I said. I'm going to start the days down here. 1, 2, 3 days of running around. And we just did 1 day there. So this is our days. And again, this all matters because we have different maps coming in at different times and different groups out there. So that's the end of that day. Let's roll. 2. Okay, they're in the clear. A 1 means only a 1 means they get lost, so they don't get lost. That only counts as 1 because it's a crossway. So 1, 2, 3. And we're in the clear. We compare that to, there's no wandering monster. So another day has gone by. Chop off food. They can hunt if they go into a food hex. I don't think they'll need to. Unless I get lost or something, I should be good if I just keep going straight. So we're going to roll for the next day. 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3. They're at that trailhead. A 1, of course, they didn't get lost. And a 6, there's no encounter. All right, next day. Do they get lost or have an encounter? Ooh, this is bad. Now, I could meta this and try to stay out in the clear so I'd be less likely to run into something weird, but I won't. So remember, in OD&D, each one of these counts as 2, even though in the mapper in the outdoor survival they only count as 1. So because I only have 3 pieces of movement a day, I'm going to move 1, and then tomorrow I'll be able to move 2, assuming that nothing happens. But I do have an encounter. So before I do that, I'm going to check off the day. I'm going to do this. So we're in the mountains, even though we're on the pass. So we're going to roll on the mountain table. So that's a d8. The good thing is they're a small party. So evasion should be fairly easy if they have to evade. Okay, 4 in the mountains is lycanthropes. What kind of lycanthrope? One, werewolves. Now we know, but I'll show it again because it might be your first time. With lycanthropes, there's a 15% chance this is their lair, and we get between 2 and 20 of them. So, by the way, they came in up here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going off memory here because I didn't go back and look at the other video. I probably should make a note of that. So they should be able to go off that part of the map. All right, so 15% chance this is their lair. 20, it is not. 2 to 20 of them. 7 and 5 is 12, which is more than half, but not quite 60%. Because it's 2 to 20. Well, no, I think that would be 60%. Yeah, it's exactly 60%. So, but it's over 60% is the is the change. So, where here 26 to 60, we have a 70% chance of evasion. Although, boy, they were having a hard time evading those other things. Let's see if we can evade. 66. We evade the lycanthropes. It's not their lair. We don't need to make any other notes there. And we can keep moving. I already checked off the day. So let's go for the next day. Okay, I can move 2 squares today. 4. Because again, I have 1 left over from yesterday. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I look at this. I'm on a basically river, which counts as a trail, counts as a river. So 5 or 6 is an encounter, so no encounter. I check off a day and a piece of food. Well, this is going to be close, and halflings like to eat, right? Next day, 3. On a trail, I don't get lost, because again, a trail, you only get lost on a 1. And you only have an encounter on a 5 or a 6. So we do that, and that. I may have to stop and hunt. I'm going to have to figure this out in a second. 3 again, same dealio. 1. Okay. Next day. 1. Oh my God. All right. So I get lost. This is not good. So what ends up happening here is I move 1 square in a random direction. 6, which is down. Okay. Well, that actually just puts me, I guess, I'm here. So straight down would be here. Okay. So I'm actually in the actual mountains, which is not great. I had rolled earlier to get lost, which means I didn't have an encounter. I guess when you do it this way, you can't be lost and have an encounter, which is kind of... That day goes by, unfortunately. I think I'm going to stop for food. All right, next day. Now I'm starting off in the mountains. So in the mountains, you're only lost on a 1 or a 2, so I'm not lost. But it cost me 3 movement to get back on the trail. And on a trail or a river, you get an encounter on a 5 or a 6. I got a 5, so I have an encounter. Oof, this could be the end of this halfling. Oh, why am I rolling with that? 8. 8's not good. 8's a dragon, I believe. 8 is dragon. Maybe I'll get a gold dragon and get really lucky. We're going to roll on the dragon types. 1. Ooh, a black dragon. That is evil. So we are running from the black dragon if we can. So the way we do dragon is just like anything else. We check to see if they are twice as fast as us, and I have a feeling they're going to be. Yep, because they fly, so twice as fast. Then we're going to check to see how many there are. 1 to 4 of them. There's a 60% chance this is their lair. I mean, I guess if it's their lair and he survives this is going to be good. We'll have located a dragon's lair. 69, so no, not their lair. And there's from 1 to 4 of them. 4 would be ideal here. And we got a 4. So that's 100%. This is actually very good. There's 100% of the maximum number. So over 60%, it gives a 90% chance to evade the dragon. So let's hope so, because we really cannot get off course much longer, because we are going to run out of food. 64. So we avoid the black dragon. Again, it's not its lair, so we don't have to worry about it any further. And we just move on. Okay, we only have 3 days to get to that food. I think we're going to make it. All right, here we go. 4. I think 4 might be the kind of number we're looking for. On a river, you only get lost on a 1. So we're good. We can only move 1 this time. We'll move 2 next time. A 4 in the mountains, or sorry, on a river is 5 or 6. We don't have an encounter. Next day, 3. On a river, we only get lost on a 1. 1, 2, because we're moving 2 squares today because we only moved 1 yesterday. And we're on a trail. We don't have an encounter because it's a 3. Next deal. Okay, I'm going to have to stop at that food. I rolled a 1. All right, we got lost. So we're lost. 3. Ugh, okay. We go into this mountain. And the thing is, you only have to move 1 hex when you're lost in the wrong direction, but since I only have 3 movement, I basically use up all the movement just going there. So basically, we're lost, but we don't have an encounter, so that's all fine. But we are going to run out of food soon. So next day, we're in the mountains. 5, we do not get lost on a 5, because 1 or 2 is us getting lost. I'm just going to move here, put this on the trail. But 5 on the trail is an encounter. Oh, God. That's the end of our food, too. We'll deal with that in a second. Okay, so what do we encounter? 3. 3 in the mountains is a giant type. This time I'll do it correctly. So I'm going to roll a d12. 7. Oh my God, trolls. Hey, a hobbit running into trolls. That's a very good encounter. So we definitely don't want to fight trolls. All right, so troll, 2 to 12 of them. 50%, this is their lair. They move 12, so it's the same speed as us. So first of all, let's see if this is their lair. It is, actually. This is a troll lair. Let me make a note of that. I'll tell you what, trolls have a lot of treasure. However, trolls are incredibly deadly in OD&D with Chainmail. So we are not fighting a troll. So I'm going to mark where it is on the map. I just mark the directions on the outdoor survival map so I can find it again. So that's good. The troll lair is good because, again, at least that's some valuable information. But now here's the big thing. There's 2 to 12 of them. 3, you really want a high number here. 5, 8. Okay, so that's more than half, but not quite. 1 of us, over 60%. We have a 90% chance of avoiding this. We really need this because we can't get thrown off track again. We're basically out of food. 63. We avoid the trolls. Now, assuming we don't get lost. Okay, so no matter what. So the way I do this happened with the other people. Since I'm out of food, I'm going to make a constitution check. Now, if I am able to roll 3d6 equal to or under my constitution, then I can move my full movement. Otherwise, I'm only going to move 1 hex, which is really all I want to move anyways. But just so we're doing it by the rules, or my own rules I'm creating. Basically, his con is 9. So I'm going to roll 3d6. I only have 2d6 here, so I'll just roll 2. That's 5. 7. Okay, so I can move my full movement if I like, but I really only want to move 1 hex. So let's roll to see if I get lost. I got lost. Direction 1 is where I have to go. Oh, actually, that's fine. Okay, so you have to move 1 square in the wrong direction, then you can correct yourself. So I'll move there, and since I have 3 movement, I stop there on top of the food. Okay, I can get 2d6 times 2 days worth of rations. Okay, I get 22 days worth of rations. That's really good. I'll just hash them as I go, because there's no way it's going to take me 22 days to get out of here, I hope. But, oh, what did I roll? Oh, I rolled a 1, so there was no encounter. All right, I'm in the plane now. I'm on my way home if I can do this. So let's roll. 5 in the clear. That means I'm not lost. Okay. I can move 3 hexes. 1, 2, 3. 5 in the clear means no encounter. So assuming I do not roll a 1 or a 6, on this roll, I'm off the board. 4. Okay. Whew. All right. Our halfling makes it. He gets off the board. He has discovered a troll lair, but yeah, he's discovered a troll lair. So he's got off the board. He's discovered a troll lair. Oh, 2 more days went by. Somebody forget that stuff. 1, 2. Wow. It took him 16 days between getting chased off there to get back. He started on the 20th, because I counted the 3 days he was in the thing. So it is now the let's see, 31 days in January, right? So it's now February 5th. So that matters, right? So it's February 5th when this halfling returns back to camp with the stories of lots of ogres and orcs and no treasure to show for themselves. What will happen? It's hard to say, right? The Eileen, the patron, might just gather a whole nother group of people and send them back, or they might tell this halfling, you know what? You didn't do anything for me. You're out. I'm going to send a different, brand new group. So we'll make that decision. I think the troll lair might sweeten the deal because at least they've got something they've brought back, but we'll see. And I guess we'll determine that. Let me know, I guess, in the comments below what you would do as the Patreon in this case.